83 ministers. That's almost double the constitutional, indication of 42. You have a constitution providing for 21 cabinet ministers and 21 ministers of state, totaling 42. The constitution left a requirement, and the framers assumed that maybe the addition wouldn't double, would be 1 or 2 people. But we have a cabinet which doubles that constitutional provision, and it's really too huge, and it takes a big chunk of taxpayers' money. You find that we have people who are taken care of by a taxpayer, and they are almost adding no value to the life of a taxpayer, and that's improper. We have about 49% women, and that's almost going towards gender parity in the cabinet. That's an improvement from the 44% we had in the previous term, and we welcome that, since we had advocated for gender parity in all arms of government.
What's the percent now?
49.
Okay, that's very
So, but it's important to note that we do not have gender parity in the judiciary and the leadership of parliament. So we are only realizing this gender parity in one arm of government, and that's not enough. We have provisions, of course, of irregularities, as you mentioned. The Citizens and Immigration Control Act prohibits people with a dual citizenship from being vice president up to certain agencies, including the directorship in ESO, Inspectorate of Government, and then members of cabinet. We have members who have been appointed. I think one of the designate ministers of state has triple citizenship. It's not just even a dual.
That's according to what we have seen on social media. I don't know if you have gone beyond that to
So we
prove.
don't know. The appointments committee will tell us. So you have somebody with 3 citizenships. And to make matters worse, you are designating this individual to be in charge of a sensitive docket that is a custodian of a country's national database. You have the NIRA, unit department in the Ministry of Internal Affairs. You have NITAU, you have passport data. All the citizenry database is in the ministry. Also, at the end of the last term, the country enacted the Sovereignty Act, Protection of Sovereignty Act, which was assented to on 17th May. And this law seeks to protect the sovereignty of the people and introduces a Department of Peace and Security in the same docket. So you will have a person with triple citizenship being in charge of designating Ugandans by birth and registering them as agents of foreigner. So you have an agent of a foreigner in charge of this docket that will do the contested role of registering, naming, and designating.
That appointment conflicts with that new act.
Of course. Of course. And then you wonder what the agenda of the country is. You say you don't want any interference in our sovereignty, and then you are adding citizens, sovereign data to a foreigner. So which is which? You have also, yes, you have also, the issues of people. We are yet to confirm with registered dual citizenship designated as cabinet members. So we don't know whether during the vetting process they renounced, because you can renounce dual citizenship where your first citizenship is a Ugandan. You renounce any other citizenship, then you qualify to be a minister in Uganda. So it will be interesting to see how the new leadership at Parliament handles this controversy and also makes sure that the appointments do not contravene the Constitution and the laws of Uganda, including Citizenship and Immigration Control Act and the Sovereignty Act of Uganda.
All right. Honorable Banyanzachi.
Present.
Let's hear your take on the cabinet.
Oh, thank you very much. The question is, we need to deliver. Well, the cabinet, like what the associate professor had said, it may be too early to judge, but of course, we draw from the experience of the past. And this cabinet, when you look at it, it is a mix of senior citizens, senior and respected citizens, and the young. When you, for example, look at Minister of Health, where they have put Baryomunsi, I expect Baryomunsi to deliver, because he's a doctor with a PhD, he's very objective, he's a fearless Muchiga, he's very, he knows what to do. When you go to another minister, let's say Otafaya, he's seasoned, he has gone to water, we expect him to manage. But again, you come and see some ministries, you see the appointment which is within that ministry, you start doubting. Because when you get somebody who is very junior, his only participation has been on social media, being a blogger, and is appointed a minister. He has no experience of registration. He does not know what a policy making and policy formulation process, what it is. How do you expect that kind of person to deliver?
I'm trying to trace the blogger, but continue.
No. There are so many. It's not only one. You get. There could be so many. So it is a mix. Then when you are going to have like Nabanja, who came when he was low, but he has now gained experience in 5 years. I am telling you, Nabanja is a different person now. He has the experience to handle that prime minister role. So, so when you have Kadaga there with the second deputy prime minister, Kadaga will deliver.
Dr.
Chiyonga, seasoned.
Isn't he tired?
You get, no. Chiyonga is not tired, my friend. He's very seasoned. And he's very articulate and very objective. So it is a mix. So, but in terms, when you say we need to deliver, under which environment are you requesting it to deliver? When we are talking about the institutional inadequacies, when you're having these institutions which are not functional, you don't expect the minister to do much. With this corrupted environment, you don't expect the minister to do much. And nowadays I even talk about that with, with my pride and my head high, because I have reminded you when we were talking about it, they almost wanted troopers.
You were the rebel MPs.
You remember in Parliament, Babas would stand and he just, size you up and say, what is corruption? I don't understand. Can you define corruption for us? And there would be some other jumping on it, not until when the president said there is a problem. And it is good now the president has said there is a problem. So you don't expect a minister to deliver under such a kind of circumstance. So these ministers are also, they have tall order. The actual people who deliver are not even ministers, are technical people. These policies are backed by the technical people. But of course, as a minister, you have to know and guide them. So if you have a technical arm of government, which is wombolo,
That's a new word you have introduced.
Yeah. Wombolo.
The third time he's using
Is it
it.
an
And
English word?
for us, Bachiga, we even introduced Gumite. Yes, Gumite is a Chichiga, Ugumire. Gumite. So now there is Wombolo. Sechko we use it to say that Aringe Soga. So Bobangolina technical officers, but Chisoga.
Weaklings.
Weaklings. You don't expect that minister, because he relies on the report on the work of the technical officers. And you know, and also it depends also the problem that we're having in this country, the what we call meritocracy. People who are having jobs and they don't merit to have that kind of jobs. The moment you have people who have been corrupted into the system, like what I was reading in Parliament, and do you expect that Parliament to perform when it has people, such officers who have never researched? You know, when we used to shine in Parliament, we were not shining because we were very, very highly knowledgeable, but we have the very seasoned researchers. There's my friend Dr. Bagonza, he's still, but he's about to retire. There are some whom I met. You would say, research this topic for me. I'm going to debate in this Parliament this afternoon. They would give you a very well researched kind of presentation and you expound on it.
All right.
So now, if you have a staff of Parliament that do not measure up, you don't expect even that Parliament to deliver, because it is relying on its foundation is soga.
All right.
If you are expecting the executive ministers to deliver when the technical officers are soga, they will not deliver because the foundation is soga. You get? So when we are going to gauge whether the ministers are going to deliver, we should gauge them against these technical officers. Do they measure up? So that's why I tell you that for me, the problem is systematic, institutional, and we must tackle it as such.
All right. We just have some information coming up here. There's a letter which looks like written by President Yoweri Museveni to the Director of Citizenship and Immigration Control, and he writes and says, I have received information that some of the personnel I recently appointed in ministerial positions may hold citizenship of countries other than Uganda. Kindly verify the citizenship status of the following persons and submit a report to me. 1. Ambassador Adonia Ayebare. 2. Honorable Calvin Echodu. 3. Dr. Lawrence Muganga. 4. Honorable Sanje Tana. And he says, in particular, I would like the confirmation of 1. Whether each person holds a citizenship of any other country, the country or countries of which they are citizens, if any, the date and basis upon which such citizenship was acquired. Please treat this matter as urgent and submit your findings to me Monday, 1st June 2026.
Mr. Kenneth,
Honorable Banyonzache, would you like to react to this?
This is where I expect my boss, who said he's tired and is going to take action. This is where I expect my boss, even now, to have taken action and fired some people. Because no minister is appointed without being vetted by ISO. Where were these vetters? What did they vet?
But how about the issue of Honorable Justin Lumumba?
No,
you have an MP appointed as a chief.
Let's first conclude this issue.
On Lumumba. You see that on Lumumba, that Lumumba thing is subtle. It is not. It is subtle, and because it is subtle, it may even be overlooked. You get, but you cannot overlook this business of double citizenship. What did they vet? What were those guys in the ISO vetting? Where is that report? Who gave that report? Let the president take action, no sleep.
But Honorable Banyeza,
let me just
and when he gets that, when he gets that report, he must act on those guys who misled him.
All right.
Because you see, like what I am saying, the president depends on reports.
Honorable Banyeza, there is a minister who has served this country until he died, and he died a dual citizen.
Maringa.
Yes.
He was my friend.
He died as a dual citizen.
We used tests to tease him.
But Dr. Jambo, very quickly.
You know, the law,
So
not
the
until
law
when
has
it
been
catches
silent.
up. Not when the law catches up with you. Because we have very many, by the way. We have very many who have been in that
Maybe
kind of
they
scenario.
renounce.
You get?
No, Malinga was a
No.
American
Maringa was an
citizen.
American citizen. He was my friend. So, you know.
Didn't need a visa to go to the
but
US.
you see now, that is even, this is where even the population now is vigilant. The vigilance of the citizens I was talking about.
Yeah, and that's
But-
the social media that you're dismissing.
But let those guys who did the vetting, the president should take action.
Yeah, you see.
Let's go to Jambo very quickly before
You
we
see,
go
let
to
me start
Timothy
with
Chemonges.
let me start with that, Anderson. when
Is the president taking the right steps?
when the Honorable Banyazaki was talking about very energetic people, he mentioned one gentleman there. That man became an MP serving this parliament in 1980. In 1980, I had not yet gone to school. I am remaining with 10 years to retire from public service. So I don't know what he means.
He said it is a mix.
But what I want to argue is that I want to give you the picture of the ministers and the cabinet and see whether it is a team no sleep.
Let's first deal with this issue of the dual citizenship.
The issue of dual citizenship, I think right now it might be handled. But for me, I see it being handled like the issue of serving military officers. When the first serving military officer was appointed the minister, that is later Aronda Nyakailima, it created a lot of debate and people went to quote the law and there was a lot of things. But at the end of the day, the man remained a minister and he opened up. Right now we have so many serving ministers serving as serving officers of the UPDF serving as ministers. It was adjured and the lawyers said this and the other, and the president said, I don't believe in that, and Aronda was maintained. Later he appointed Katumba, he appointed Mbadi and many others. So this one may begin a debate. Probably they may look at it, and as Sarah said, the only thing they need to do is to denounce that citizenship, and that can be done in a very short time.
But it has
using their
implications
lawyers.
also.
Yeah, this government does not fear implications.
Probably, no, to the individuals, probably they own properties that side because of virtue of being...
So they will take whatever it happens. But for me, I don't see that as a very serious thing. I want to look at the role, what you expect from a minister. And here you should look at the appointing authority. When the appointing authority, for me, I've studied him for a long time. When he's appointing a minister, he looks at the interests of NRM, his party, and his leadership. And therefore, NRM lawyers are given some offices. Now we have even surpassed the royalty of NRMs themselves. We have now gone to their children. The children of NRM royals. You can see in this cabinet, we have a child of Moses Ali, we have a child of Kutesa, we have a child of Salim Saleh, we have a child of so and so. So you are creating a very big royalty group. Which creates some sort of aristocracy. And that's what the president tries to do. Number two, he looks at regional balance. And you saw yesterday all the newspapers were giving us the distribution of ministers per region, as if a region where a minister comes from influences his or her performance. So the issue there is not performance, it's to look at how do I balance these regions. Then the other one has been rewards, to reward the people who have done very well. I am happy this time people who positioned themselves to be rewarded, many of them have been thrown away. They have been ignored. I'm not going to mention any name. Okay. But there are a number of people who have been doing certain things that were in some way posturing so that they can enter the cabinet. And somewhere they must be very disappointed. Some in FDC, some former FDC. There are those even who joined the parliament, who joined the NRM recently and helped in legislation of certain laws. There are those who have been shouting and trying to break certain things. The PLOU, he was trying to talk about people who are posturing. These ones, many of them were this time ignored, and I am happy for that. Then, there are surprises. There are surprises in this cabinet.
For instance?
My biggest surprise was throwing away of David Muhoozi. To me, David Muhoozi was one of the very hardworking ministers in his docket of internal affairs. He almost took over from Kahinda Otafire. In fact, Kahinda Otafire has not defended anything in parliament concerning internal affairs. It was David Muhoozi who was struggling with that docket. In fact, any person would think that David Muhoozi was the Minister of Internal Affairs.
Defending the citizens and what this law that
it was actually tabled by General Muhoozi.
The same man. The same man.
Okay.
So this man, I don't know what happened. As he said, they are normally intelligence things, but for me it was a surprise that he was thrown. Then another surprise was the appointment of Honorable Namere as a Minister of Local Government, a Minister of State for Local Government.
And they're together with
And for me, that ministry, you know, those days in my early age at the university, I used to teach local government administration in Uganda. And I think it is the most important ministry in terms of service delivery to our people. Now, the minister is Barugahare. Is a qualified person. He has a master's degree. He is a very good event promoter and so many other things. But as the Honorable said, he does not have the gist of policy making, supervision, and that stature to run that ministry, which runs the whole country. We have now 140-something districts with their municipalities, with their cities. There are a lot of issues. They are underfunded. They have a lot of structural breakdown and so many things. For example, let me just give you an example. The budget for local government is 7 trillion Ugandan shillings. But out of the 7 trillion Ugandan shillings, 6.3 is only to pay salaries. So the districts all in Uganda have only around 700 million to run their activities. So you would need a minister who brings a trajectory change. Why our people don't have services is the weakness of local government service delivery centers. You cannot have a local government for only paying school teachers and medical officers and so on. So in that docket, the minister is Barugahare, the assistant minister is my young sister Namere. But what is very, very important is that when you look at the ministry, you have called it Kisanja no sleep. I like these slogans. They are just there to confuse us and make us excited. But for you to see whether it is a Kisanja no sleep, you need to analyze why has so and so been put in a certain ministry, for what purpose. Number two, do they even have performance agreements that they are given, that I'm sending you to this ministry, I want you to do A, B, C, D for me, so that after 2 years, that person is examined and given. You can see, for example, you can see how, for example, when they told the president that, hey, Mr. President, you have made a mistake. You have appointed somebody who is not a member of parliament to be a chief whip. He just swapped. He removed the one whom had been appointed as a Minister of Information and the National Guidance, and he changed that one to now the chief whip. It really shows you that these are just arranging eggs, bad eggs in a tray. We don't have a very big intention. But lastly, the last thing I want to tell you is to agree with my Honorable Banyazaki, that indeed it is the technical wing that does the work at the ministry, but under supervision of a minister. So you cannot have a supervisor. You cannot have a political supervisor who is below the bar of the technical people. And that's why you see the technical people in Uganda have taken these ministries and people for a ransom, whereby they come up with certain things, the minister does not understand, the thing is implemented, it does not work, and that's why you have a huge corruption.
Prof, give me 30 seconds I speak to your point.
Please take.
If you allow.
Take very quickly.
You know what, the issue I've talked about, the performance, the delivery and performance of ministers.
Like it's happening in Kenya.
No. When I was Minister of State for Economic Monitoring, I benchmarked what South Africa was doing, what Botswana was doing. I came and wrote a paper. But what do they do? A minister, every week, he has the plan of action there. And at the end of the week, or on a designated date, he goes to the Prime Minister to talk to how the work plan in that week. And if you don't deliver, you are given, you are assessed, you are fired.
Yes.
But here, and I propose that we should adopt that in Uganda.
Cabinet.
That's how we came with the Prime Minister's delivery unit. The Prime Minister delivery unit, the head of the Prime Minister delivery unit, should have the weight of a Prime Minister, more or less, or a Prime Minister. So when you are accessing and giving a report weekly, ministers account on their action weekly. But now here, there is no even monthly, there is even no annual. There is even, it is to wait for the Sanja to finish and the voters sort you as a minister.
All right.
So let me just
let's go for a quick
if these
break.
government functionaries are listening, where I'm one of them anyway, this is something that we should adopt.
All right.